Ryan, I actually forgot to put my UConn gear on for this last check-in. Ryan, tell me why this is such a big week. Remind me again.
It's Maryland week,
Hold
baby.
on. Hold on. Give me 1 second, man. They're gonna give me a lot of heat for this. Just get Ryan. Actually, I did this backwards. Just give me 1 second before. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. All right. Just give me 1 second. All right. Here we go. I got to get ready for this last check-in here, man. This is something else, man. They're coming right to our backyard, Ryan. Tell us why this is such a big last check-in. I've been waiting on this for years.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that we've hyped up and we covered as soon as they released it during the all season. So we've circled this one
There
on
it
our
is.
calendar for a while now.
All right, Ryan. Phil and Ryan back on Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's and Sportsland. Look, I had to do this, Ryan. No bad blood between our subs and Ryan, me, everybody. I'm sure Connor is still eating his Cheetos watching this episode. We want to shout out to Connor and everybody. Man, look, the stakes doesn't get much bigger than this, man. And I'll be honest with you now. Coming into this game on Sunday, I'm not. Again, I think you already can see what my prediction is. We'll give our predictions at the end and our MVP. Ryan, I'll be honest with you now, man. It's not a lot I can say other than I wish that this would be a more evenly matchup, and and again, I'm going to take the heat for it, but I think that you agree at the end of this episode. I really do. Because when you think about it, just think how much more. I know it's going to be a great matchup. Don't get me wrong. A great ball game. Gino versus Brenda Freese. I know actually the two head coaches headlined the actual game on Sunday rather than some of the players. And that's kind of bad news, right? But
Yeah.
Ryan, I just wish that we had more of these UConn players healthy and ready to go for Sunday because, oh man, I feel like that this is going to be a tough one for UConn as far as that goes.
Yeah, and Maryland comes in 8-3, currently ranked 20th. They were as high as 14th in the AP poll rankings, but losing to some pretty tough teams, South Carolina and DePaul. Last Sunday suffered an upset loss to Nebraska, but Terps were able to beat Notre Dame, obviously something that UConn couldn't do, beat them at the buzzer beater shot, and Brenda Freese always has her girls playing pretty good basketball. So Maryland, they lost a lot of players to the transfer portal, which was really shocking because last year they had a good season. And because of that, I don't think I've ever seen this before, but they have two forwards listed on their entire roster. The rest of the players are all listed as guards. And Maryland's lineup, the starting lineup and players coming off the bench usually consists of all guards. So starting lineup, one player that didn't leave for the transfer portal last season. Obviously, in my opinion, the star of the team, Diamond Miller, 6'3" guard. So even though all their players are listed as guards, they still have pretty good size out there. Rest of the starters, senior Faith Masanis, sophomore Cheyenne Sellers, senior Elisa Pizan, transfer from South Florida, and senior Brian Alexander, transfer from Vanderbilt. Bench consists of senior Lavender Briggs, former Florida Gator, senior Abby Myers, former Princeton Tiger, and three freshmen on the bench, Gia Cook, Mila Reynolds, and Bree McDaniel. So despite Maryland having no players listed as forwards, 4 out of their 5 guards are 6 foot or over. So I don't think really Maryland lacks in size. This is going to be obviously a tough game. It's in Maryland, so UConn doesn't have the student section or the home field advantage behind them. And piling up just with UConn having all their injuries, like you mentioned, I don't really think this game looks very promising for UConn.
Yeah, man. And you said it right. As far as the two rosters go, and again, I go back to how much more because in the beginning of the season, or rather, not even in the beginning, when this game was announced that Maryland would be facing UConn, you and I, first of all, Paige Beckers, I know I never say your name enough, but you can't say it enough, correct? And man, what I'm just trying to tell you is, Ryan, that I actually, to be honest with you, coming into the preseason, rankings and the predictions, I had UConn easily winning this ball game. All right.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how quick things can turn in a matter of months. And I know months sounds like a while, but it's really not, because a lot of has changed. And again, the way that UConn looked the other night against Princeton, I just, if they allow teams to come back, because that's not their identity, that's not their style of play. If they
No.
keep allowing teams to, even if you pull out the win, if you keep allowing teams to come back on you like Princeton did in that ball game, it's just, to me, in my opinion, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign for what's to come down the stretch, because face it, uh, late March, early April, who are you going to be coming out facing on that floor? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of the injury updates that I have, not much has been said. I guess we'll get more on Saturday or Sunday before the game. But status of Dorka Juhas is still unknown for Sunday, and obviously with Nika Mule going down,
Yeah.
and that was much of the reason why Princeton was able to come back. They're obviously going to want Dorka Juhas out there, so let's hope she can suit up for Sunday and make some sort of an impact and try to help UConn possibly win this game. But Lou Lopez Seneschal, I said she didn't play much, or the waning minutes, I should say, of that fourth quarter against Princeton. She's been struggling with a strained foot, and she said that she tweaked it on Thursday, so that explains why she didn't finish out the fourth quarter. And also, Nika Mule said she feels fine, but it's unclear whether she will play Sunday. But obviously suffering that injury early in the third quarter. So, and she didn't even come out to the bench. She stayed back in the locker room. So, it doesn't sound like Nika Mule is going to play, which is obviously very disappointing. So it's, I think it's going to be a grind for UConn. I don't really expect them to come out and light the world on fire. I think it's going to be them being down most of the game and trying to dig themselves out of a hole. I think this is just going to be a very, very tough game.
And make no mistake, Brenda Freese has been around for a while. We know all about Gino, right? We talk about Gino all the time, and we get it. Considered the best coach ever. But I'm telling you, man, Brenda Freese knows what she's doing, and I believe that these girls, as far as the Terps, will come out ready to go, firing on all cylinders. You know what I mean? Because and again, not saying UConn won't, but Maryland knows what these Huskies have been going through, right? And Brenda Freese is good enough to pick apart the pieces. Okay, what's their weakness here? What's their strength here? So again, this is not like you're going against, and I'm not putting these smaller schools down. I'm really not, because some of the experience that these smaller schools have, they have great players and great coaches, right? But again, it's different. Division I is just different, man. When Brenda Freese, the experience, and she it's plain and simple. She knows what she's doing, and again, well, you'll sit back and say, well, Phil, all of these people know what they're doing. That's why they're in this position. I get it, man. But again, there's a big difference, man, between, that's why there's levels. That's why there's levels to the game. What do they say in the songs, Ryan? It's levels to this. I won't say the last word.
Well, and Brenda Freese is certainly, she's a very, very good coach. And I mean, there's been countless of times, I don't know how many consecutive March Madness appearances and amount of Big Ten tournaments she's won over her years.
Not mentioning you yourself just saw her in person not too long ago.
Yeah, we did go down there for their couple of their March Madness games in the first and second round. But I think if UConn wants to have any chance of winning this game, I think it's going to come down to their bigs again, much like we saw against Princeton. Aaliyah Edwards didn't really have one of her best games Thursday night. So I really want to see her be more aggressive. It seems like to me, a lot of her moves are almost telegraphed. And, I just think she needs to be more aggressive, driving to the ball and getting foul shots. Caroline Ducharme as well. I'd like to see a lot more out of her. I see some people saying she might be injured. I honestly don't think she's still injured. I think she just had a bad game. So hopefully she can rebound. And more of Aubrey Griffin, if she can have a repeat performance or somewhere close to what she did against Princeton, UConn's going to need all of what she can bring to the table for Thursday or for this game on Sunday. So, and obviously, like I said, if Dorka Juhas can be out there and try to contribute to their share, her offense and defense will very much be needed for this game on Sunday.
You're right about that. Hey, let's get into some quick comments because I know you have to go, Ryan, and get ready for this terrific, wonderful weekend. And you know why it's wonderful? Because it's the hottest rivalry in the NFL. I already know what you're thinking, Ryan. You want to see that matchup just as much as I do. Okay. I won't say any more. Let's get into comments. Let's start off with Marcia Clark. Thank you for coming through again, Marcia. I love UConn. Sometimes battling adversity can be your greatest ally. Someone please sage this locker room, get the bad injury energy out of there. I like the next person up mentality. This gives all players a chance to play, show up, or sit. And thank goodness for Aubrey. Does anyone know anything about UConn's conditioning program?
Yeah, there's been a lot of questions about that as these injuries keep on piling up, but it's definitely unfortunate. I just think it's more of just being unlucky and just I mean you can't control injuries, but yeah, I mean let's just hope that everybody can heal relatively quickly. There's really no timetable of what Nika Mule we don't really know what injury she suffered yet. So you know, let's hope that she's not out for a while, and let's hope Dorka Juhas can return. Obviously, we're gonna miss Az for at least another 3 to 4 games and possibly up to 11 or 12 more games. So it's definitely gonna be a grind these next couple 2 to 3 weeks. Honestly, playing every team, their schedule. You can say it gets a little easier, but the Big East is no pushover this season. So it's going to be a grind no matter what team they play, ranked or unranked. So it might not be very fun these next couple weeks, but it's going to be pretty tough.
Shout out to Paul Samora. He goes, if I heard and understood Gino correctly, Dorka has been cleared to play, but she herself is not ready mentally and she is keeping herself out. Caroline is not anywhere near being healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for Caroline, it's just, I mean, I don't know if it's because she started last year. She was just kind of thrown in as a freshman and she didn't really have a lot of expectations, but she played very well and obviously suffering from the neck stiffness and another injury, I believe. So it's just kind of been a rough off season for her, a rough couple first games where she was out and I'm sure she probably didn't play much basketball while she was dealing with those injuries during the off season. So it's been a grind for her as well. So let's just hope that Caroline can find that rhythm that she had against Iowa and those couple games where she was able to contribute and play good defense and offense. Because like I keep on saying, I think Caroline Ducharme is really going to be one of the key players that's going to have to step up and be in the starting lineup, especially if they don't have Nika Mule. But while Az Fudd is out, Caroline's going to have to be in the starting lineup, and she's really going to have to be starting to be more aggressive on offense and getting her shots to fall.
I want to shout out very quickly to Jason D'Amico. His comment was very long. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it made me smile. I was actually working and I read a comment, Ryan, earlier this morning. And he goes, okay, one more comment, and then I need to get back to work before I get fired. Laughing my butt off. So, hey, so we now have people tuning in at their job, Ryan. And I was like, man, I have to tell Ryan this because that's some major respect right there. So I want to wish Jason D'Amico and his family all the best, happy holidays and a happy New Year's to come, because that really made me light up at my own job. And I don't know if Ryan saw it or not, but Ryan, that really means a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely appreciate it, and let's hope.
But please don't get fired. Don't get fired.
Yeah, please don't get fired watching
over us. Yeah, over us.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get anybody fired.
We're definitely not worth it, Jason. How about let's go over one more. This is an interesting one. Sweet and short. Randy Wagner goes 27 turnovers and 20 fouls. Caroline with 2 points. Edwards with 8 points. Simply awful.
Yeah, and you're just not going to be able to beat many teams when you have that many turnovers and fouls. And that's really been the story for UConn for much of the season. I know Gino was talking to Nika about committing fouls, and even Gino said he's gonna sit her if she keeps on committing all these fouls. But yeah, the turnovers on offense is really not something that we're used to seeing with the UConn offense. We're just so used to seeing so much perfection and really having their offense down to a T. They practice so much passing in the practices, and that's something that Gino is really, he speaks a lot about his offense and the way they can really pass the ball and do great things on offense. And that's something I don't really think we've seen this offense at its full potential yet this season, and it's much due to the injuries. But while we did have a relatively healthy roster there for a couple games, I just think this offense can still get a whole lot better.
Predictions, man. We love this time of the video. Predictions, man. I'll let Ryan go first. Ryan, what do you have for me? Score prediction. Who wins this big game that we've been waiting for all year long? We circled it as soon as it was released and announced. They're finally coming to our backyard, University of Maryland College Park, Ryan, less than an hour away. Ryan, who wins it? Score an MVP. And the MVP does not have to be a Husky. Do not forget that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think with Nika Mule out, I really don't expect her to play. So if she is out, I think UConn's going to really struggle on the defensive side. So I have Maryland winning this game. I'm going to go 76 to 62. That's my score prediction, and I'm gonna pick a Maryland Terp. I'm gonna go Diamond Johnson for MVP.
Diamond Miller.
Yeah, Diamond Miller. Yeah.
You're tired, man. I get it. School is just wrapping up, and you're very tired. I get it. All right, so you're going with number 1 Diamond Miller.
Yeah.
As the MVP. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I actually have Maryland Terps winning this game, Ryan, under Coach Brenda Freese and company. I'm going with MVP number 1. She's number 1 for a reason, her jersey number. Diamond Miller. I'm going MVP, and I'm going 80-70. Maryland over UConn. Ryan, it's that simple. I will get you on out of here and get ready for the weekend as I have to leave. Actually, why don't I come pay you a visit up there at Dempsey's in Middletown while you scrub the dishes, right? Scrub the dishes. No, I'm just kidding. Wash them all up, throw them around. Hey, how about a shout out to Sabelle? Shout out to Sabelle, all the hard work she does up there, man, and supports us on this podcast. Everybody there that works with you, show them this video as support, man. We love them, and we want to wish everybody a happy holidays, even though we get into some arguments here and there on this podcast, Ryan, with the subs, man. It's all love. It's all love. I wanted to shout out to them now. It's no better way when I got the wrong jersey on, according to our subs. So look, man, shout out to Sabelle. And how about actually you go ahead and end this conference while I head out the door, and you can tell Sabelle to put me a Krabby Patty on the grill to get me in the mood for Sunday, because the game is not in stores. The game is in Maryland, Ryan. It's the Maryland Terps and the UConn Huskies. We will be back on Sunday for that lovely game recap right here, Ryan, on Listen Up.